go. Yes, we're back. This is the Underground. World News Live. Back at you for another one. Much love, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, purebloods, righteous ones, truth warriors. Hope all is well. Thank you for the feedback. Christian, right out the gate. I appreciate it to the fullest. Academy, Pixie, Geo. Good to see everybody. Mayhem, Andre, Clark. I want to thank everyone that shares the stream daily. Esper, Hoodie Ross, Tacos, Tooch. Much love to all the crew. Bulletproof Soul, Walk with God, Hopkinson, Boomer, Kenny G. Everybody out there, hope all is well. Got a lot going on. Me Puppet, Bones, Tom, Phil, Riding, Beach Girls in the house. Again, I hope all is well in your neck of the woods. As always, a ton going on globally. And we're going to try to cover as much as possible here within about 2 hours or so. And aloha, right back at you guys. I see you checking in from all over. Start off here with just a heads up. I said it on the last stream, but it's really setting in right now, apparently. Around 10 million people should stay indoors right now because they're saying these toxic chemicals are making the air unhealthy. So officials in New York City issuing this air quality alert, advising everyone basically to stay indoors or be careful here. The alert is due to the ground level ozone, they say, which forms when air pollution combines with warm temperatures. And it's been hazy the past day or so. This all ties into it. So the Bronx, Kings, Queens, Rockland, Westchester, Lower Hudson, all those areas under an advisory saying when outdoor levels of ozone are elevated, going indoors will usually reduce the exposure. So you've got that. And remember, you've got this big dust storm sweeping in across from Africa that's going to be blanketing Florida and some of the southern states. So you can see in this image right here, this is what it looks like out there. The Midwest facing air quality emergencies. So you can see this big area right here, and it's just seeping down into the United States. So you got big fires going on up there in Canada. There's always something going on somewhere, right? In terms of this stuff, somewhere's always burning, it seems. And yeah, just a heads up again on that. They do say right here though. Let me show you a closer image here as this is coming in. Minneapolis, this is getting hit right now. Milwaukee, Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Indianapolis potentially, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, all these areas gonna see a thick haze. So just a heads up, y'all. Maybe you guys seen it already. Yeah, well, we've got earthquakes in Idaho. Some people starting to freak out because more than a dozen breaking out within 12 hours. Some of these up to 3.5 in magnitude, definitely felt. One was 3.9. It struck just outside the small town of Stanley in central Idaho. They're saying overall, there's been a staggering 33 earthquakes recorded by the USGS in the same area of Idaho since 2:13 p.m. Monday afternoon. So, it's the past 2 days, they're seeing a weird uptick in quake activity. I zoomed in on the maps, tried to see if I could see anything in particular that would, stand out. I didn't see anything that stood out, but I don't know how all the images were. Also, there is Stanley sits near the Sawtooth Fault. That's a 40-mile long fault running through central Idaho. Kind of ancient, but they say it could play a role in what's going on here. This area, they say, drew national attention after a magnitude 6.5 hit in 2020. So this is an area that could see a decent quake then. So just a heads up, 33 quakes here recently. And thank you for that there in the super chat. Much love. Everybody receiving the memberships, welcome to the underground. If you guys are feeling any of these quakes or experiencing anything that I'm talking about, let me know. I'd love to get some feedback on any story that I talk about. If you guys can relate to it, got any information to add to it, at me in the comment section at Dabu77. You can also email me, dabu7@yahoo.com. But yeah, we don't always talk about Idaho and quakes, but they're seeing an uptick. It's usually the West Coast. Sometimes, over here around Yellowstone as well, which becomes a concern because from what we know, the underground magma chamber in Yellowstone runs south and west, runs down at a slanting angle. So it would go eventually underneath this region, which anything's possible, I guess, right now. We don't need a super volcano erupting. That's for dang sure. I think nobody's prepared for that. That would be like, that would end everything. It would be like almost a civilization ender. It would cause so much devastation. Just hope nothing like that ever happens. We got plenty of other things to deal with. Check this one out. Sometimes, I mean, with certain things we just don't know. Um, what I like to do, instead of having modern man lie to me time and time again, I like to look to the ancients. And I like to see what they had on record. Oftentimes, this is why they always want to wipe out history, burn down the ancient libraries. They don't want you to see what really happened, see or hear what really happened. And I think it's important to look at all civilizations, all these older ones, to see what they were saying. When you do, you start to see that there's a lot of things that coincide. A lot of these stories, like the flood story, they're told by all these different civilizations, people around the world, and it gives credence to the fact that the event happened. That's just one example. Um, there's also a bunch of ancient stories from a bunch of civilizations about their people being taken inside the earth to be saved, to avoid cataclysm. The Hopi here in America write about this specifically when it comes to just our country. They were said to have been taken inside the planet, a hollow planet, where they were taught great things, and they were taken there to survive the cataclysmic event. And then, after everything had cleared after some time, they reemerged. And they say that spot is in the Grand Canyon. Funny enough, you can't go looking in the Grand Canyon. They won't let you. They won't let you fly drones over it. They won't let you take any flight outside of like 2 or 3 green-lit flight paths that go over certain areas. They will not let no one go over or see. You would have to take an adventure down into the Grand Canyon on an expedition like others have done and people try to do, to go down there and see what's really going on. But it's not a friendly landscape. I'm going to tell you that. When you get out west, it's very barren, very desert. It's very oppressive. Four Corners region. A lot of the national parks type areas, they have the most ancient stuff. They also seem to be the hottest places out there in terms of our country. It's tough to get some of them. I've been out there. Anyhow, when it comes to inside the planet, they're saying that a reservoir of gold lies hidden inside Earth's core. Now, I'd say, I guess anything's possible. The inner workings of this planet. I believe it is hollow in nature, just like the moon. It's because when I gather up all the facts and everything, it's what it points to. It's what the ancients say as well. So when I've got facts and the ancients all saying the same thing, I tend to lean that direction. And, you know, I would say in stuff like this, like prove it. They say things like this, but they say that there's rings, hollow rings, and then other rings of like crystal, and then lava and magma. big mystery, just like a lot of other things that they want to keep us in the dark on. But I don't know. Reservoir of gold inside the planet. Good luck finding that and tapping into it. If you do, let me know. We'll report on it. I'm going to move on to the moon, which, oddly enough, we have scientific evidence and proof. If you were to ever try to prove that the moon was hollow, there's a handful of different things you could try to do, but one main thing would be to hit it and see what kind of sound you get. And when they did this with the moon, it reverberated like a bell, which means it's hollow. And I think that this is what they were kind of hiding in Star Wars right in front of your face. It's like just like it, just covered in like dust and kind of camouflaged, but still sitting there. It's not spinning. It's not moving. It's the only thing in the whole freaking cosmos that doesn't spin. It's locked into position. Artificial as it gets. You can see the seams in it. And I've spoken on. There are ancient stories from different civilizations that spoke of a time before the moon was in the sky. Believe it or not, it is true. And even the stories of how it was fastened and put into the sky. Whether true or not. But to me, it was definitely fastened and made. There's just things you can't deny about it. Also, just when you go to investigate it, which is what I do, immediately when you get to the scientific stuff, like we hit it, they ran something into it, they launched a probe up there and smacked it into it. The whole world watched. And see, the thing about this is they can't hide it or manipulate the data. The whole world watched. The whole world listened. All you had to do is point instruments to it, and everybody listened from every country. And it rang like a bell. So they knew, and that was just one of several different tests that have been conducted like that on the moon that shows that it's hollow in nature. But also, when you look at all the pockmarks from the moon, no matter how big or small, they seem to all only penetrate down to a certain depth and go no deeper. There's no massive, huge hole or crater anywhere that's like enormously deeper. It's not the case. As many have pointed out before, it's almost like they're all hitting a titanium wall. And oddly enough, that's said to have been an element discovered there. It seems to be a constructed mechanism. Some of the ancient stories also speak on the fact that this thing is the soul trap. That this is the thing that locks everything into place. I mean, and it essentially kind of does with the way that this place operates. The tidal flow and all this and that, it's all set into motion by how this moon is just perfectly set in the sky to be just so perfect with an eclipse from our point of view down here. Like, you'd be crazy to think that there's not a higher power to not set this whole thing up and not watching everything. Lot was put into this. And the moon, again, has several different instances have brought the story back to it potentially playing a role in a soul trap with the whole spirit reincarnation, entrapment of soul in this plane, how this whole thing operates. Many different stories have pointed at that. And then you have the tower, so to speak, that they have images of on the moon. And see, the thing with the moon is, it's like when it's full and you've got a good telescope, you can lock onto that thing. I love it. I can't wait to get back to that. Hopefully someday here in the future, God willing, we can do that. I really look to do that. Like on full moon nights, we'll just lock on to the moon like we used to. I used to take my cell phone and hold it up to the eyepiece on my Galileo just to pull this type of stuff off. And we'd still catch all types of wild and crazy stuff. Now, with the new telescope, digital age, like HD, and me not having to do all that, um, man, I already see guys out there that are like getting up on them craters in the moon. Or they're catching stuff every day. Every week stuff's caught up on the moon. You just got to be looking. And the more people pay attention, the more you see is how even around the sun. I want you to know that on my channel here, I have a video that proves that we're not alone. And it's a broad daylight photo of objects interacting with the sun. It's been up for years. Did this on several different occasions. And it's pretty obvious something more is going on here. I just shared a clip the other day of the Ghost 16 catching like a sun-sized object going around the sun. And it wasn't a flare. You see, lens flares are created when you're putting a camera on the sun or the moon or something, and it will create a flare in the video, in the image. If you block the sun out, if you block the light source out, you can't have a flare. It disappears. So just remember that. Middle of the day, night, or whenever it is, if you block the moon out and you put something, one of them squeeze balls, like I say, on a pencil and hold it up and just block the sun or the moon out, and you're going to be amazed. People don't take the time in this rat race to even do this stuff. And when you do, you'll be amazed. Now, what I caught in the images, like every day, you got planes in the sky, you could see them. Birds in the sky, you could see them. Even the bugs up close, you could see every little thing. The butterflies, you could see everything. But then all of a sudden, you notice there's something not close. It's way out. It's around the sun. And it's interacting with the sun, in and out of the sun. And it's all on film. Happens every day. You can just go to Soho, Lasco, S2, S3, and you can just compile the images and hit play, and it's like a highway of stuff going everywhere. And hold on. I thought all that was supposed to be attracted to the sun, and it was supposed to be pulled around the sun. Like, it's not happening like that. Like, there's stuff everywhere, going in, out of the sun. There's stuff feeding off the sun. I've got it on my channel right here again. Huge objects. They got to be the size of a planet. And that one, as crazy as it sounds, it's on my channel. They don't just show you. I had to spend time years ago going through NASA's archive. This is the habit I used to have and used to watch those feeds. And to get a little movie, so to speak, you got to go and you got to pull out all these images, put them in order, and then you had to hit play. You had to make it, so to speak. And that's how I found the massive object that was feeding off the sun. This was years and years and years ago. Since then, on YouTube, you will find, it amazed me, other people were catching this thing. And they were like, what is this? And this was many years later. And I'm showing up like, yo, this thing's back. Like, look on my channel, what you're catching right now, I already caught years ago. And when it pulls away from the sun, it disconnects like a tether. Literally, seriously, you can go watch it. It's right there. It's not CGI. It's not made up. This is what is caught going on. It was nuts. It was like it was fueling off of the gas station. That's the closest thing that I could connect it to, but it was massive. It was dark. You could barely see it, besides the fact that I pulled right up to it, and these cameras, Soho and everything, caught it. I believe it. I believe the sun is that. But look at it. Do we get burnt and roasted like a marshmallow every time we get licked by a CME off the sun? No, we just got hit. It causes G4 geomagnetic solar storms is what it causes. Why is that? because it's not fire. The sun's not fire. It's just simply not. Okay? I believe it's cold fusion. We know it's a product of fusion. I believe it's cold fusion. Which inside of an atmosphere on a planet, it would heat up, just like sitting in your car on a cold day. Inside would heat up as the rays. That's how it works, man. I don't know, man. This let me get back to the moon. The moon, this is new, like brand new stuff. They're saying half of it is hotter than the other half, and that it's an anomaly. The gravitational field suggests that it's warmer on one side than the other, which means that its interior is asymmetric. You know, how many breadcrumbs are they going to throw to the people that are not paying attention? They're never going to rewrite books. They just keep giving the dumbed down masses the same damn school books they've been given for decades. Hardly any updates. And it's just ridiculous. There's stuff like this being released. Scientific New Scientist, a main publication here, saying this is the case. May 2025. They're hinting, dropping the breadcrumbs right there that the moon is hollow. There's something going on inside of it. If anybody cares. But no, everybody's got their heads stuck to their phones doing something else, following the Kardashians. Over here trying to buy an Optimus robot or something. Lone Warrior, much love, my brother. And thank you for all those memberships that were gifted right there. That's appreciated to the fullest. Rain-X, thank you for buying a coffee. I appreciate that to the fullest. Best way to support the stream. Yeah, thank you guys for those memberships. Gonna keep it pushing. Because I could stay hung up on the space stuff and this and that like for hours. Get through some of this news. All right. Amazon has a recall. We've had a lot of recalls. On the last stream, I think I had 3 or something. I know we had Dinty Moore, then we had gummy bears, all this other stuff. Yeah. Well, Amazon recalling thousands of products that can cause neurological problems in your kids. Really, in anyone. It can cause neurological problems in anyone. First off, if I don't understand how lead can even get in a faucet or something that's going to distribute drinking water or water that you bathe in. I just don't understand it. How it could be even used or approved or anything. How it finds its way in there. But yet, thousands of faucets that are sold on Amazon have been recalled because they could cause lead to seep into the water. And it can be obviously extremely harmful. They're saying children, but to anyone. They're saying 10,000 faucets sold on places like Amazon here contain this toxic metal that can cause neurological issues. Lead is what they're talking about. Can cause decreased cognitive performance, attention-related behavior issues, lower IQ, and all that. So they're saying that 3 models, as you can see on the screen, of kitchen faucets are being recalled. Consumers have been urged to immediately stop using the kitchen appliances and contact the manufacturer. Like, man, like, do you really know? Do you really know? You got to start doing like your homework on like every single thing you do, going out to replace the faucet. It's not just running to Lowe's or grabbing one. Like, you got to like flip it over. Where's it made? What's it made of? Like, or not, or have lead leaking into your system poisoning you. It's a setup. It's like, how does it get there? It's like a setup. Like, I mean, for real. Like, you really got to start thinking about it. Made in China. You say that Christian truth. Like, not a knock on my Chinese people, but everyday people, but for that CCP and how they are, man. And if we go to war, literally, like we're on the verge of that with them. Like, why would they not care to contaminate and poison us if they're already getting ready to shut the lights out and do anything else to destroy us? They want to see our downfall so they can be the kings. When the United States falls, that's China's chance to seize power globally. Cash, man, thank you for the coffees, man. Relentless, I appreciate the support as always. I hope all is well. Much love, man. Thank you for the coffees, man. But again, heads up on that recall. And I got another one, a massive baby food recall. Baby food, like, it's everything. Officials have a recall on a popular baby food product over fear that it may increase the risk of autism in children. Like, oh my gosh. Like, the faucet's not safe, the baby food's not safe, and this is not a joke. It's not a joke. FDA announcing that Greenwise, pear kiwi, spinach, and pea baby food pouches, 4 ounce, are being recalled due to potential lead contamination. Again, how does this happen? How does it get in there? Like, how does the wood get into the denting more and all this other stuff? At this point, it's like we're a laughing stock. They're doing this on purpose, is how I feel. They don't care. According to the agency, the food pouches were distributed in 1,400 stores in states of Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Virginia, and Kentucky. So heads up. I mean, people out there are trusting these things. Like, man, you just can't trust nothing, man. At all. Publix has not yet revealed how many units of the product were affected, but a total of 53,000 units with the same best used by date have been distributed across the affected states. Previous studies link lead exposure in children to learning disabilities, along with damage to the kidneys, reproductive, cardiovascular, digestive system, and autism spectrum disorder. Like, it just goes on and on. That's back to back. How are we going to have lead coming out of the faucet and in the baby food? It's like we're under attack, man. Someone's getting away with this. It's like, how far can they push it? Are you kidding me? Oh, man. This is just crazy. It's just nuts. Both ways. How many kids are going to the faucet to get a drink of water in their home? Knowing how bad the waters could be, I mean, add the contaminated water into the mix, and it's a nightmare. This is crazy, man. This is why we collect and clean and filter our own. It's the best way. I don't trust no one else. I'm at that point. Also, it'd be wise if you could break away from that smart meter that's sending out frequencies, that's doing things you couldn't even imagine. I mean, just go look at the trees and the plants outside of some of these places that are fried when they put these things up. What do you think it's doing to you? Best way to do that is disconnect from the grid if you can. Where there's a will, there's a way. And here's a big heads up. I've gave a warning about this before, but they're just coming out saying that this popular weight loss thing, Ozempic, it raises the risk of silent cancer. New research indicating a 33% higher chance here of kidney cancer among Ozempic users compared to non-users. Man, that is insane. We were talking about people losing vision, having all these other health problems going on because of this. So now all of a sudden, 30, that's high odds and a high percentage. Here. The drug's part of a group called GLP-1 drugs, which also includes Wegovy and others. So anyone out there trying to take this stuff, man, this is bad news. Through and through. So, I mean, that's a huge jump there. I'll never forget. It's the one thing that Biden was saying big time. He's like, we're going to cure cancer when I'm president. We're here now. He's done come and went. They didn't cure nothing, or at least announce it or put it out there. They announced that he has it, but that never happened. This all continues. The cancer shenanigans continue. This is pretty crazy. We got an EV that's not EV. We've got a ship carrying EVs, about 800 of them, that is on fire out in the ocean, and they've jumped ship and they've abandoned it. So it has approximately 3,000 vehicles on board this, 800 of them EVs. The fire's origin, they don't know. Lithium-ion battery ignition, oh man, from lithium-ion battery. This remains possible cause. Wow. They evacuated all 22 crew members earlier today. Smoke billowing from the deck, and it's just out there on fire. Just out there on fire. Like, they're not going to take no boats out there with any fresh water to or anything to try to put it out. I'm sure they're just going to let it burn and sink. And it's going to be a toxic nightmare mess right there wherever it sinks, right there off of, right there out in the middle of the Pacific. Who knows? Somebody could have planned this. This could be a bunch of, because they're having a problem, an issue getting rid of EVs. Places don't want to give them a green light to bury them because it's toxic. All that. So what do they do with them? What do they do with them? I'm just saying, as it comes to mind, the investigator part of my mind always jumps into the fray here. Like, it just seems like, yeah, that's something somebody could have plotted right there easily. And even maybe have an insurance claim and all this other stuff tied into. Who knows how deep it goes, but I could see it because they're having huge difficulties with the EV stuff, which I don't even see how EVs are legal at this point when you don't even have a way to get rid of them. It's nuts. This above ground graveyards all over the place. Many junkyards won't even take them. They stop. They're like, no. Not dealing with the headache. Which says a lot. But just saying, we've got a huge billowing EV thing out here. Out in the middle of nowhere. Literally, it's in the middle of the ocean. North of Hawaii, well, off the coast of Alaska, out here off the strait. So any of those cities on that island chain right there coming down off Alaska, those would be probably the ones most affected by this. All right. Let's jump into the financials. Just as I warned you, just as I told you. The Stablecoin Genius Act that was pushed by this government was done in an attempt to make sure that the US dollar is pegged to all the stable coins that are being used out there everywhere. And That's exactly what they're saying it's doing. Um, Again, I come back to the gold thing. They're talking about, in the end, can gold be applied here? Can it be done? Did this, that, and the other? But like, you still haven't shown us what's going on inside the vault. And like, we can't just quit talking about it because that's what they want you to do. They want you to just forget about it. Nuh-uh. Uh-uh. We got to keep talking about it and bringing it up. And again, is somebody over there from the Trump crowd gonna bring it up, like scream it loud enough to your Gentile Messiah? We want to know what's going on with Fort Knox. Something like, show us the gold. Show us the gold. Let's make a trend. Show us the gold. Show us the gold. Show us the gold. How hard is that? How hard is that? Right there. These people are just a bump on the log. They don't do nothing. It's when nothing takes off, nothing does anything. Anyway, they'll continue to get played. As long as they're not saying anything and not making any noise, they're fine with not doing anything, saying anything. Although I feel at some point they will come out and make a statement at the time of their choosing, but it will be, again, it's like playing one of the cards in the deck. It'll be well timed and strategic when they make this move. And I don't rule out that they come out and they say that it's empty. Who knows? Seen crazier stuff. And the reason I say that is because I don't just say it because it calls craziness. They I feel would get away with it. They would get away with it. They would simply say, "Yeah, we have evidence that it's been gone for a long time, and most people connected to it are all dead and gone. This is actually the first real audit that was ever done, and who knows who knows? But I mean, the people are so docile. I could really see them doing it and getting away with it, and like, the people won't do nothing. They won't do nothing. Why would they miss that opportunity now? If you're the bad guys, you're just sitting there. If I'm the bad guy at the top of the table, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, these people are so stupid. Like, we're doing it. We're doing it. Like, we're about to take all the 401ks. We're stashing it all up. Like, in this, that, and the other. Like, yeah, we're doing it all. You see, that's what's coming. Oh, man. There's an event about to happen. Stable coins to the rescue. Did they jump the gun with this? To what rescue? What rescue, really? Like, the crisis hasn't kicked in yet. I feel like it's going to happen any moment. Any moment. And really, what could spark it is this whole thing with China. If it really goes into a hot economic war, and even real war here on this world stage, no, this is what they want. Remember, Trump wants a weak dollar. And also, one way to get a weak dollar is to reevaluate gold. You get a 2-for-1. If they come out and they say, look, we're reevaluating gold, it's $10,000 an ounce. And this is what they do. It would weaken the dollar, which is what they want. And in turn, strengthen what they got, because they're sitting on a hoard of gold. Everybody is. The whole world is. All the central banks are. This thing is a ruse. It's all big central bank game. It always has been. Always has been. And Rothschilds and them have controlled both sides of everything forever. World War I, World War II, up to current day, all these central banks, it's all show. It really is. That's why they call them theaters of war. And they do all this just to kill innocent people. In the way that I see it, I'm serious. Hear me out. They knew that the king or the emperor just killing their own people all the time just wasn't working. They needed a better way. A good way was if two kings got together and they said, look, why don't you kill my men, I'll kill yours, and You could take the blame and I'll take the blame for you people. It doesn't really matter. We'll both be heroes in our own people's eyes, which is all that matters. So we can control our own people. And they don't care. They're satanic. This is about slaughter. Some people can't wrap their head around that, but that's what this is about. That's why they just keep feeding it and keep feeding it and keep feeding it. And every day, babies are getting blown apart. Every day, genocide continues. Every single day. And we're going to talk about it because no one else wants to talk about it. It's pathetic. You can't find me someone out here that voted for Trump that'll sit down and have an honest conversation. If you can't, email me. I want to have it with them on all kinds of topics, and not just to rip them. I mean, it's going to be pretty one-sided because everything we speak on is truth. When it comes to this, we've always given Trump his propers, as we do anyone, and we're going to rip him when it's deserved. Oh, Gentile Messiah. Yeah, and he said himself, he is here to usher in a reset. Okay. The dude just said it himself. Cat's out the bag. Anytime now. And it seems these stable coins are going to play key. Why? Because everything's going to go digital. I've been warning you about this event. For how long? All right, it hasn't happened. Let's be thankful. But man, it's about to. Everything's there. Everything's lined up. Everything's there, man. Again, man, I hope you don't get caught when they steal the 401k from you. And how they do that is just, they're going to dump the stocks. And when they dump the stocks, everyone's going to be holding an empty bag. Your 401k won't be nothing. And this is what I keep trying to tell people, because I know people that are retired and they draw off the 401k and they're like, well, if I pull that out, then I have nothing. But it's not the case. Like, if you pull it out, like, you've got the same egg. You pull it out. You just got to learn to only give yourself $2,000, $2,500 or $3,000, whatever it is a month that you're living off of. Whatever you were just pulling out of the bank, you got to learn to just pull out of the closet, out of the safe, is what I'm saying. You make this move now, or they're taking it. It's the great taking. It's coming. It's coming in my days. Before this is all said and done, they're going to do it. They're going to wipe it out. As Trump said, it's going to happen on his own watch. He said this. They didn't just make this stuff up. It's like, this is the stuff they're planning, they're saying, it's in the open. And we know it. It's all over the place. The framework for everything is there. For everything. So, they want to be able to control and track and trace all their stable coins that are backed, which means that it's already giving rise to other stable coins that they don't control, which may be a better privacy option for you out there. There are competitors. There are competition. There are people that buck back. There are people that are trying to use this technology in a different way, in a righteous way, out there for the people. But you're always, as I always say, going to have a totalitarian government that wants to do the worst of the worst with it. And if they can track and trace everybody, that's what they're going to do all day long. Twilight, much love. Good to see everybody. So, all right, keep it going here. Bitcoin becomes safe collateral. This is rather huge. I know Bitcoin's been falling back here, it seems, in the past several days, and it's just what it does. It ran up to a high and it drapes off. Let me go over here and check. See what's going on here. 1046, yeah. It could even fall under 1,000 from where it's at, the way that I see it. It's just in a sideways channel, and it's odd because I've noticed, because I watch the news constantly, all these headlines in the past week, the same time as it's draping off, they keep saying, oh, this company just bought a whole bunch of Bitcoin. Oh, this company just bought all kinds of Bitcoin. Oh, this company just added all kinds of Bitcoin to their portfolio. All these headlines dropping, but like, you don't see where's the big buy-in on there? All this news is being dropped as it's tapering off, okay? And still, and see, it used to be in the form, if they wanted it to come down, and it still is. If they want it to come down, it'd be negative news. It'd be what they call FUD. And this is with anything. Any stock, anything. Okay? But here, it's just pulling back, it seems. And when this thing explodes, everything is there. All of everything is there to, for the formula for this thing to absolutely explode, to like level up 120, 130 anytime. Or they could dump it. I mean, they control the whole game. And it's built on a hash made by the NSA. But I see this thing, you don't bring something like this to this point just to kill it for nothing. Like, it's got time on the clock for some time. Bitcoin does, until supercomputers and super AI can crack it and all this other stuff and make it obsolete, which is still some time to come. I'm giving it at least till 2030. All this stuff is going to be the way that it is out here. And you're going to continue to see Bitcoin, which they are stocking. Think about this. The bad guys are stocking their vaults with something that they can put a value on. Just like gold, they can reevaluate gold and it would benefit them tremendously. They could do the same thing, but just they print free dollars, throw the free dollars that you just printed into Bitcoin, inflate it the same way. It's all manufactured. They can blow it sky high. Then all the Bitcoin that they sit on, why would they not run Bitcoin to $1 million? Can somebody answer me that? Why would the crooks look at Jamie Dimon? Dimon's now saying everybody's in for the Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. Like the same guy just sold $33 million worth of his precious stock. Okay. This is the shift. It's happening. You need not just stick your head in the sand on this. You need to be educated. That's why I try to educate people the best I can on all this, on everything with blockchain, with crypto, digital currencies, the difference. Because some people be like, oh, we've been digital. I've had digital this and that for like years. Well, no, this is a different digital. It's a different digital. This is blockchain digital. And the people don't even want to take a step in that direction and learn about it. And it's like, well, look, if you don't want to learn about it or educate yourself on something simply, then I don't know what to tell you. You get left behind. You sit back there making up stuff, talking about it, or you can really get the real scoop on it. Blockchain is a simple technology. It's exactly what it is. It's like a block that's made, like, say, every minute. And anything that happens in your business, like every transaction that you make, you can store in that block, right? And save it. And the next minute, any transaction that happens then, it can store it. And you can always go back and just go right back to that block and look in there and get all the details to it. It's fabulous and works wonders for businesses and things of that nature if used righteously. Okay? But this is a world controlled by demons. So it doesn't matter if it's a laser, if it's a gun, if it's blockchain, it doesn't matter. When bad people are around, they're going to make the worst of the situation, basically. They're going to use guns to slaughter people, not protect them. And they're going to use blockchain here to track and trace them, not give them ease of payment of anything. This is where a big fight has to be put up by independent units from this point on, which is going to be moot, so to speak, because I feel this big event is going to lock everybody out. The big event that's coming is designed to freeze up everybody's money. In the way out, the exit, their trap door is their digital wallet. And it's going to be a very easy one. Everyone's just going to be like, calm down, just download this app, this other wallet real quick, and your money's right there. They could be like, that's it? They could be like, yes, we're prepared for this. Most people are going to be like, cool. They're going to pay for their gas, get their cigarettes. They're going to push on. And guess what? They just accepted in the blink of an eye the transition. And they didn't even know they did it, really. They didn't even understand what happened. Do you see what's about to happen? I'm painting it like clear. Crystal clear for you. Do you see? This transition is about to happen. And when the dollar weakens, gold naturally, as a hedge, is going to explode. And so is Bitcoin. At a point. I feel like they're both in a Super Bowl type of cycle here, where you're just starting to see it. Go could pick up and run. BTC the same thing, and you've got them both running at the same time, hard, all putting in all-time highs along the way, which they're doing. They're both doing at the same time. So again, man, reevaluation on gold will be absolutely huge. California passes a bill to accept crypto for state payments. I mean, it's all there. It's just 100% right there. In the meantime, a lot of places across the country, a lot of different states, they're seeing what you call zombie properties, or properties that people have to abandon, homes and everything else, because they can't afford them. They can't afford the upkeep, things like that. So they're saying that the number has increased in 30 states. This is not a wonder why, I guess, right? You know, the way that the economy's been hit and wrecked ever since lockdowns, it was meant to do this. It was meant to wipe everybody out and do just this, to crush this place. It's not over. Um, Keep it pushing here. I got an alert for anyone that's looking to travel to Mexico. U.S. Embassy putting out a warning to all Americans, telling them not to use dating apps to meet people in Mexico. The U.S. Embassy officials in Mexico this week confirming reports of American citizens being kidnapped in Mexico by people that they're meeting through these dating apps. So look, I told you how college students have been gone down here just on vacation, been chopped up into pieces. I've shared with you horrific story after horrific story. There was the influencer that was live streaming. Somebody showed up acting like they were going to deliver something, shot her up, killed her, murdered her right there on live stream. It's pathetic. It's ridiculous. And it's these stories, these things that are happening, that's greenlighting what's about to go down. They're about to start pounding the cartels. From what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, the United States has given the ground units there, like in Sinaloa and a couple other places, they've given the local authorities, so to speak, that are going to work with our government and our military, a window of time to do something, to go in and round up, to handle this on their own, to basically go in and take out some of these, and they're doing it. I just reported on the last stream, one of the leaders had $1 million bounty on his head. They went in and took him out. And the U.S. is basically saying, you do this or we're dropping bombs. And if you don't want us drone striking your towns and cities, which is what's about to happen, real deal, then you take care of it. And that's what we're seeing. I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but when I guess the United States is like, all right, you're not doing enough, or, time's up or whatever, they're going to move in whenever they want to play that card. They're ready. They got warships, for crying out loud, sending off of Baja. They're running flights daily. The border's locked down cold compared to what it was. And the military's crawling all over it. You got Apaches, Humvees, armed soldiers, thousands all over the place. So it's totally different. They're ready for a military operation. So, look, I've warned you several times, and this is the latest here. I don't want this to be one of you guys or someone that you know out here. Trust me, if anyone out there wants to go to Mexico, it's Dabu 7. I've been wanting to go, you could say, forever, for many different reasons. The one time I was right there at the border many years ago, it blew me away. I drove down to it, I believe, from Tucson, and I was in the desert, and it was all desert, and then all of a sudden you get to the border, and it was the craziest thing I think I'd ever seen. If you've never experienced it, you're out in the middle of nowhere in the desert. There's not a house to be seen. Just cactuses. You're out in the desert. out west. You know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, man, there ain't nothing out here. Then all of a sudden you see signs like the border's coming up. And the next thing you know, you see like this wall, big wall like fence. And you're like, what the? And then like from certain angles coming in, you can see over the wall. And it's insane because it's houses stacked on top of each other. As far as the eye can see, over every hill, all the way up to our freaking border. You can see where the world was like shut out at our border. Like in Mexico, it's just nuts. And as soon as you get over into our side, it's just desert. Right on the other side, dude, it's just houses, shacks stacked up. Look, it's nuts. And it's like, what the? But this is how it is. And I never got a chance to go over. In here, man, I've got some places, man, connected to ancient stuff that would just be super turbo interesting. Let's just put it that way. That we know is in some places from satellite imagery. Really, it's in a ton of places. And it deserves going in and finding like ancient places, ancient structures, even pyramidal and like temple type of places. But the cartel runs it. And what are you going to do? So it's just crazy, man, that a lot of the most ancient places like that, you're talking about the Mayans and the ones that built the pyramids, for crying out loud, right there in Mexico, if anybody cares. Everyone seems to forget about it. Yeah, there was an ancient superpower, had a lot of knowledge, technology, had a lot of something that was here and then disappeared. And like, we're just given a fraction of it. But like, all of it's buried underneath the jungle, man. Hidden in the jungle. And we know this. As a matter of fact, Mr. Beast, one of the most popular YouTubers out there, which I don't really care for at all. He went down there and they tried to do what I'm saying, because that's what most people would want to do if they could. Go down and explore. And he did. He went down and he filmed it, and he got threatened by the Mexican government. And all this stuff, like super threatened because of the stuff of what they went into and what they were revealing and all this stuff. And I'm telling you, man, it's there. Indiana Jones and me would love to go down, run Mexico for. We could just go from spot to spot down there, man. Exploring. All right, gotta keep it pushing. Hackers leak, and this is a big one. If you got AT&T, heads up. Yeah, that's right. Hackers have unfortunately leaked data on 88 million customers. This is including decrypted social security numbers. Just great, right? It stems from a compromised Snowflake cloud environment exploited by Shiny Hunters Group back in 2024. The initial data was posted on a Russian cybercrime forum in May. Doesn't mean Russia did it. Sometimes all someone has to do, like CIA or Mossad, is go and like post something just like that on a Russian forum, and to make it look like it was Russia or anything like that. It's a well-known tactic. But this could be anybody. The fact is, it doesn't matter at this point. It's hacked and the data is out there. The full names, dates of births, phone numbers, email addresses, physical addresses, and 44 million social security numbers. Man, this is bad. It's a bad one. This is a bad one. Right here. Just a heads up, man. Anything happens, suspect, anything from here, I mean, it's all the time anymore. Okay, so, all right. Here's a huge story. Crack into an Ava. Thank you for the coffee. I appreciate that to the fullest. Much love. God bless. We have Chinese nationals caught smuggling this bioterrorism product, a potential agro-terrorism weapon. Basically, it could this fungus could wreak havoc on our wheat, our barley, our maize, rice, all of it. It could poison humans, livestock. It could shut down the liver in humans, all this stuff. It's pretty wild. Well, this is what they're saying. They arrested 2 Chinese. They're getting charged for doing this. This is the story. This is the new news coming out. These 2 people. Now, this causes what they call head blight. It's a disease that can devastate all your staple crops, and it can wipe us out. It's attacking our food supply. Worse, its toxins induce vomiting. They cause liver damage, reproductive issues in both humans and animals. In the wrong hands, they're saying it's a straight up bioweapon, and that's what they're saying is happening here. So I'm telling you, everything turning toward the whole China thing here, and again, China's the ones involved here, sending 2 agents in here at the University of Michigan in their lab. They connect this back to labs in China, and they believe that this whole thing, this crop killing fungus in here, is bad because who else has it? If they brought it in here and had it here, where else is it at? Where is it being released? So, this is it was brought into the breadbasket of America. What happens when America's breadbasket gets hit by something like this? Oh, well, I got a big one right here. Much love, Jay Reacher. Much love, Hoodie Ross. All the warriors swing the hammer on him. This is crazy. Jay Reacher sent this my way, and he circled a part of it. He says, "Look what they've done. Look what's going on." And man, this is crazy. So this is what's going on. If you missed it, this is the National Blueprint for Biodefense. Immediate action needed for defense against biological threats. Put out in April of 2024, a year ago. Okay. So in it, you get to scrolling down, and you get to the part where they start asking or talking about basically a hypothetical situation. Well, they start off talking about COVID and everything that we learned and went through with it. Everything from COVID and lockdowns and all this stuff. But then they roll out this scenario. And you know how these cats are, man. You know how they, event 201s right before we get locked down. We watch for things like this. Okay? Look what the scenario says. And this is a hypothetical scenario. This is what they had planned. And you got to watch it because they roll things out live all the time during exercises like this. Especially if the crowd doesn't know much about it. And thank you, Boomer, for the coffees. Appreciate it to the fullest. Much love. God bless. So here we go. The following hypothetical opening remarks by the chair of a congressional joint inquiry provide context for this report by portraying a biological attack sufficient to cause the catastrophic consequences warned by this commission on biodefense. The scenario describes how a biological agent could target humans and animals, how disease could emerge. Some of the key capabilities here addressing this agent and impacts are within this and the consequences of failure. So, I just told you the exact pathogen that they were trying to bring in here attacks both humans and animals. The fungus, the Chinese just got busted trying to bring in here. Not only wipes out our crops, but attacks humans and animals. On top of that, you got the screwworm that does the same thing. That we worked hard to eradicate back in the 50s. And it's right back on our doorstep in Mexico, heading this way, which will wipe out livestock, crops. It will eat anything and everything, even humans, human flesh, and cause horrific sores and boils like of biblical nature. So, with that said, look what it goes on to say. This is the key part in bold. The joint inquiry into this administration and congressional actions before and during the bioterrorist attacks of July 4th, 2025. They have a scenario, a hypothetical scenario right here in this blueprint that they've been planning and plotting this whole time about a biological attack that gets rolled out, targeting humans and animals, just like the charger with the Chinese. Imagine that, right on cue. But the attack is meant to happen July 4th, 2025. You wanna know what's even colder about this? This is a whole play. This is like a skit. The scenario here that they're running through. This is how they play it out here. Right? This is the chair stepping up, like an attack just took place. He says, I call the first hearing of the joint inquiry to order. 9 weeks ago, some nation or terrorist group, we still don't know who, they attacked the nation's capital and other U.S. cities with biological weapons as we celebrated Independence Day. The infectious agent that they used killed 280,000 Americans and infected another 400,000 in a single day. In addition to the 200,000 dead and 800,000 sickened animals. These numbers will increase as the disease spreads. Many of our own colleagues and staff here in Congress fell ill and died. Coordinated attacks in allied nations in the days that followed killed tens of thousands more. We're now hearing that the terrorists conducted small-scale attacks in American cities and localities prior to the July 4th incidents to test our defenses and gauge our responses. These smaller scale attacks went largely unnoticed. We're in that window. It could be happening right now. Laboratory test confirming the Nipah virus caused the disease. But they still don't know what methods the adversaries used to infect the humans and spread it among livestock. They say the animals and people were sick for more than a month before they realized what had happened. So everyone was getting sick for a month before anyone even realized what had happened. This is crazy. This is the scenario that they're playing. And we're a month out from this. We are literally a month away from the scenario. It's time frame. Real life time frame. It says people and animals that were sick for more than a month before this. It says while the virus is in the same family as other common human and animal viruses, most American veterinarians and physicians had never seen the Nipah virus before, so it delayed recognition. That's an interesting little tidbit. The virus, which in nature does not spread easily among people, was genetically modified to increase its ability to spread from animal to animal, animal to person, and person to person, while still retaining the mortality rate of over 40%. Despite these assessments, our adversaries, the shadow government, they conducted the deadly biological attacks of July 4th here and throughout the world and took advantage of, and then they list a whole bunch of failures. Their failure to eliminate vulnerabilities after COVID, their failure to conduct sufficient biological intelligence activities to indicate imminent attack. Their failure to do this and that and to all the stuff to stockpile sufficient medical countermeasures. Um, I'm just saying, this is what they're planning for and plotting. It's right here in the open. This is a huge one. This is absolutely huge. I put a lot of emphasis on bird flu and everything that they've done there. But this here is its own whole thing. This is talking about a biological attack specifically. And it could be a bird flu. It could be of anything. They're just using this Nipah here as the example. It could be of anything. And that they released this right now. Like right now. 30 days prior to July 4th. We were getting attacked, which means right now in real time. Yes, and thank you, David, for the super chat. I'm just saying, man, if stuff pops off and later people are like, oh, look at this, and look at this, you remember we covered this here right now before you heard about it anywhere. Anyone say a word about any of it? I ain't heard no one, not a soul, mention anything about this. Not a peep. Again, much love, Jay, that brought this my way. Not a peep from a soul on this. When people want to backtrack later and cherry pick and see the Dabu 7 covered this, and they're like, oh, look at this, and not mention my name at all, because that's what always happens. Yeah, we seen it. We called it out. We put the warning out. Anything goes into motion from here on out. We'll be referencing this, and there's a whole PF on this. All right, gonna keep it pushing. 55 tons of meth, or an ingredient for meth from China, bound for Mexican drug cartels, and it was seized in Cali. So, yeah, Trump said he'd just take the CCP on their word because he trusts them so much. It's ridiculous. Really, Trump? He's going to take the CCP on their word that they're going to stop sending fentanyl in here and get out of here, man. Stephanie, thank you for the coffee. Appreciate it so much. To the fullest. Thank you for the support. But yeah, that's what your Trump said. He's just going to take them on their word. Like, get out of here. Like, this is all a show. It's ridiculous. It's sickening. Jumping into AI. Get an update here. This is the warning again for the big ugly bill. I'm gonna jump more into that here in a minute when I touch on Elon. But when it comes to the AI data centers, period, they require a lot of power. And I've done told you that Trump said that they can use whatever they need, natural gas, coal, anything. So right here, they're admitting, they're saying this is gonna consume a lot. Like, we need a lot. So if it doesn't come out of our own reserves here, it's gonna have to come from somewhere. I'm predicting, as I've said before, been saying this for a long time. Anyone that buys land that has coal and natural gas and stuff on it like that, you're set. What's this one say? Meta signs a nuclear power deal with Constellation to fuel AI. Why? Because remember, Trump came out and signed an executive order. It said all these AI places have to make their own power plant. It's unprecedented, really. It's crazy. Like, you want to talk that the grid's going to get taken out? Of course it is. Of course it's going to get wiped out. He's ordering all these AI places to have their own freaking power grid. They have their own power supply. All of them. So it stays alive during this event. What are the people are ignorant, just running around, head in the clouds, with their pom-poms, too much winning going on, blind to the real issues that's going down here. They're setting it up right in front of you, right in front of your face. Right in front of your face. Anyone with any brain be like, well, why are they doing that then? Why would he even order that? What do you think? Because they're pulling the plug on the rest of this, and the AI has to stay running. Period. Case closed. And this one is pretty wild. A bankrupt Microsoft-backed AI company was using like warehouses full of not even real Indian engineers, but they were faking AI. They were acting like they were AI. A whole turn. This fell apart. Tell you, fake it till you make it or fall apart. Um, Insane. You just never know what you're dealing with out there. And to me, AI is going to be one of the main reasons for our destruction. It's going to oversee everything that's going on with this bill for surveillance AI is totalitarian. Better hope that it gets voted down. Again, with AI, it's all about what you're training them with, the algorithms. You see what I'm saying? Because, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's only as smart as the information that you're seeding into it. And it seems to be, I mean, and when it comes to this consciousness, as I said before, I believe that this consciousness is like the jinn taking control of a body, a Frankenstein AI body. Like all these Optimuses can be hijacked by the jinn, by a spirit, because that's what it was all meant for. That is the intelligence. Where do you think it's coming from? Artificial intelligence coming from nowhere. No, it's coming from somewhere. The realm is real. It's all real. The hierarchy is real. We know it. It's written everywhere. As I say on every stream, you wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against these spiritual wickedness, jinn in higher places. It's real. So, AI, just not good. I'm going to play this clip here of Mark Anderson predicting the biggest industry in the history of the planet. Now, I would tell you that it's AI, but he's going a step further. He's saying that it's robots like Optimus. These robots that I've been warning you about. He's saying it's going to be the biggest industry the world has ever seen. That's saying a lot. The biggest industry the world has ever seen. That means that they're going to replace us and a whole bunch of other crazy crap. But this is how they think, and it's coming at us fast. So here you go.
You've all probably seen, Elon has this Optimus robot that he's building, these humanoid robots. Like the general purpose robotics thing is going to happen, and it's going to happen in the next decade, and it's going to happen at giant scale. And I think there's a plausible argument, which Elon also believes, that robotics is going to be the biggest industry in the history of the planet. It's going to be gigantic. There's going to be billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions of robots of all shapes, sizes, descriptions running around doing all kinds of things. Those robots need to get designed and built, right? And so my view is, we don't try to get the old manufacturing jobs back. What we should do is lean hard into the manufacturing jobs of the future, which is designing and building all of these new things, right? By the way, which includes drones and cars, right, and robots. And we shouldn't be building manufacturing lines that have people sitting on a rubber mat for 10 hours screwing screws in by hand, but we should be building, what Elon calls them alien dreadnought factories, right? Which is like these super sophisticated factories with like tons of robotics. But you can imagine thousands and thousands of different categories of industrial production that have to happen all across the U.S. in order to make this happen, and would cause just like enormous economic growth throughout the country. We get a huge payoff from all the tech investment that the coasts are making, but we generate many tens or hundreds of millions of jobs in the countryside, and then the U.S. would lead.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. That is the big lie that this guy just said. This is the big lie he just pushed on the sheep. You don't generate tens of millions of get out of here. You eliminate them. Listen to what he just said. He just said, oh, the super dystopian alien dreadnought factory where it's all robots. And he says, but you've got to replace everything with it. And of course, yes, we know this. We know this is what's coming. He just said it. He said the quiet part out loud. Okay? But then he lied. He tried to cover the whole thing up and gloss it over and say it's going to bring millions of jobs. Ain't nothing bringing millions of jobs. This is coming to wipe us out. And he said it. He said it first. He said it first. He put all the bad stuff out there and let them kind of like soak on. And then at the very end, hit them with the lie of it's going to bring jobs, so he could just glaze them over. That way, the last thing in their head, in their memory bank on the whole thing, was that it's going to bring jobs, which was a lie. It's going to wipe you out. It's going to wipe your family's future out. Everything. He just told you the plan. And he's right. By 2030 and like throughout the next decade, we're like screwed. Mankind is screwed. Because any human that's left, they're going to want you to own a bot, have a bot around you, or put a chip in your brain. We already know this. It's not a big secret. And that's why we call Elon Mr. Neuralink. He wants to put a chip in the brain. And this is biblical. This is mixing iron with clay. It's all there, man. It's all right there. These guys are, Elon responded to his clip the other day. He's like, everyone's saying that I'm on drugs. He goes, I'm not on drugs and this and that, which I don't know if I believe or not. But I'll tell you one thing he is on, demonic spirit. And that's what you're seeing come out of him. 100%. I mean, he sold out his own kind. We, the people, getting sold out by all these goons, Gates, Elon, all these guys, technocrats. They're all in one big club, and they got the masses blinded by this left-right illusion, caught in this soap opera, which is exactly what they want. Keeps them blinded. It keeps them controllable. Controllable. And that's exactly what you are if you're lost in it. That's why we're here to help wake people up to this illusion, this left-right paradigm, Hegelian dialect, illusion of choice. It's one big club that we're not a part of. They run both sides of the aisle. It's a fact check. At this point, it should be rather obvious. This is it. This guy just told you their plan. Humans step aside, peasants. So look. Put yourself in the room with these guys, a fly on the wall. Put yourself as one of them. Again, one of the criminal cartel. Listen to everything he said. You put yourself behind closed doors, not in front of cameras, when they're really talking about the goods. With all this. Like, it's about to go down, man. Like, okay. I could see this. If you're in the room, they're saying, I see this. I say, I can see this. Again, put yourself in the shoes of the bad guy. Questions start to rise. If you're really evil. Well, if you're wiping all these people out of a job, what's going to happen to them? Like everywhere is going to become like a slum. Like no one's going to have jobs. It's going to be like depression. No, they're going to have to play a card to remove them. Like that's the scary thing. They would, being the bad guys, well, we need to kill all these people. What is the cleanest way we can actually kill all these people? Because we literally don't need them anymore. What's the best way that we can do this? And like have everybody that's left, obviously, on the system that we can track and control and, everything that I've ever wanted. They release something, something that they just war gamed, they just beta tested, like a pandemic, a real one. Some kind of biological attack, a real something. They got to kill real numbers this time. And you got to put big dents into huge populations like India and China. Like it has to do big time damage. They've had to have plotted this the whole time, and I believe this is why the whole beta test, the whole thing began with China and everything. They're so heavily tied into this whole thing. When the real release is let loose, I mean, there's going to be no turning back. They know this. That's why they've gone to extreme measures to beta test this, to fake it, to fake everything that we went through. Literally. for the whole world. That's extreme measures. You do that for only one reason. When you're plotting to do the real thing. Does everybody get that? Do you understand that? You're not making it out of this 5-year period without this happening, unfortunately. Everyone just thought it was going to go away, didn't they? They're back to normal life. Yay, yay. Mm-mm. The wise. I mean, you've heard what I've been trying to warn you this whole time. And what I've just said, the real event hasn't even happened. So the wise would have been preparing for this event the whole time. You see all these things, you know it wasn't for nothing. Only a fool would think that. Lock us down, go through all this, dude. It was nothing. We see it for what it is, which unfortunately means something bad is coming. So all this ties in together, and they get what they want when they do this. They drop a bunch of bodies, and you don't even have to, at this point, when the robots, they're already here, are primed and ready to go, Optimus, to go in and do things. It's easy. I mean, they can do whatever at this point. You don't even need human soldiers. When bodies start to drop and you've got to send like soldiers in at gunpoint, like to round people up, you don't even have to send in human soldiers. You send in these Optimists now. I told you before, man, bullets become obsolete. When your bullets become obsolete, you're done. You have to think of the way, and we better figure out this way quick on how to stop Optimus and all these demon robots. And you better figure it out quick. And then get whatever is needed to stop them before they stop you from doing that. This is bad news, man. They've got the whole crowd buffaloed. So, let's jump into the big, beautiful bill. I warned you about the biggest threat, the AI, but there's a ton of other crap stuffed in there. Well, the White House spokeswoman came out and threatened everybody on the last stream, remember? And said, you senators will vote yes, or you're going to get blamed for the deficit. Well, she's a liar. They're all liars. SIBO finds that the big, beautiful bill itself, if approved, will raise the deficit by $2.4 trillion. With the T. They're such liars straight to your face. And I played the clip where she looked right in the camera, right in the eye, and like threatened everybody. Like mafia. And she's so conceited. She's so arrogant. I can't stand it. Even play the clips. She's just a mouthpiece for the establishment and what they want to push and their threats. And they can shove it. We done picked it apart and we done caught them. They were hoping to have this thing. They were hoping to then have this thing then in the books and passed and buffaloed to people by Memorial Day. That was Johnson's words. Didn't happen. We've caused such a ruckus on it. It has stalled it this whole time. And they don't like it. And I'm telling you, I think we're about to stop it. To where they're going to have to strip certain components out of it and reintroduce it. One of us is going to be the AI thing. If we don't, it's game over. I know certain senators fought the fight and they will continue to do so. But when not enough step up to the plate, we got to start calling them out. Yeah, that's why we call it the big ugly. Big ugly. So look, this thing's a show. They save face however they can. They still want a huge crowd of certain people to follow Elon Musk and to believe in Elon Musk and to support Elon Musk and all this other stuff because he's a pawn in this whole game. Obviously, in pushing all the agendas. Well, Elon exits the White House, right? He's no longer a part of Doge, so he's disconnected now. And he's going off. He's going off on what? The big, beautiful bill. Saying it's a pork-filled, disgusting abomination, which it is. But I'm not stupid. They're shifting Elon over into an area where people will gravitate toward him and his thinking on this. But don't fall asleep at the wheel. Again, he's still part of the club. Always has been, always will be. He's just taking a different stance here because they know they need someone to play this position. And that's what he's doing. And it's counter Trump, actually. And it's going against this bill because they know, again, we have raised such an enormous amount of noise about this, I believe, truly, that it's stalled it out and it's brought it into the light. And this is the type of thing that you see when that happens. If they would have got signed and pushed on and through, Elon would have never said a word. Would have never said a word. Never said a word. What happened to all the trillions you caught the government stealing? All the trillions the Doge caught. Who's going to jail for it? Oh, nobody. It's a crock of crap. This whole thing's a crock of crap. So, and look, this causes what they call a MAGA civil war between Musk and Trump. Good, let it be. Let the party be over. Like, it's going to happen at some point here. Everyone just thought it was going to be, paradise this whole time or something, which is just ridiculous. Let some people wake up out of this is all I ask for. Here's a new one for tonight. Trump signs a bombshell travel ban, restricting people from 19 countries from entering the United States. So this is pretty big. This stops people from Afghanistan, from Chad, Congo, Guinea, Trail, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Myanmar, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen. Further to that ban, citizens from Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela will be partially restricted. Trump says, we don't want them. So that's the word. He puts out the video saying we don't want them. And so people can no longer enter coming from these places. Okay. When it comes to the migrants, full scale, it's pretty clear that these people were used as a weapon. They were used by Soros and by the governments to infiltrate not only America the past 4 years, but all throughout Europe. Into all the countries, into the UK, France, and all these places that you wouldn't even know, like Ireland. You wouldn't even know if you went through there. It would look like you would think you were in Africa somewhere. It's that bad. Well, the migrants in the UK are receiving £1 billion per month in welfare benefits. This is a setup. Like my folks there in the UK, you need to be calling this out in your politicians and putting this on the block here. This is ridiculous. What are they paying you? What are you getting? What are you, the people, getting? How dare this much money be going to illegal migrants and all this? This is a ploy. It has to stop, and it stops when you cut the money off, cut the head off the snake. If this would have happened a long time ago, a lot less of these people would have been here. If George Soros would have been put in jail back in Ferguson years ago when we busted him, paying protesters here in this country, none of the events up to this current time would have ever took place. But never happened. And he sits there tonight, a citizen in this country of the United States, a free man, sitting in his home when he should be wanted for treason on so many different accounts and thrown in prison, and all of his money confiscated and divided up and divvied up amongst the people. That's what should happen. So what's Europe doing? They're pushing forced mixing housing plans to integrate everyone, sweet and starting this. So they're forcing everyone to have to mix in all this stuff, in this big experiment of whatever they're trying to pull off, in killing the roots of all these places, which is ridiculous. There should be roots of everywhere. I want to see the roots of, I want to know anywhere and everywhere I go that this is the people that were there and historically have always been when I go somewhere, not be able to tell. Again, when I go to Ireland, I want to be able to see my Irish people and know it and hear it when I walk in the shops and down the street, not think I'm in some place in Africa. Same thing with France, Germany, all these places that have been hit. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Minx. Thank you guys for the coffees. I appreciate it to the fullest. So Trump makes a shocking admission to some about this whole war thing. And it may not happen here in terms of peace. He had a good call with Putin, but there's going to be no immediate peace. And you should glean from this that this war is far from over, and that there is going to be no immediate deals here on the table between Russia and the United States until obviously this thing's done. And I have a funny feeling it may take brute force. I have a funny feeling something huge is about to happen. Big attacks. I'm talking big from Russia. Possibly decapitation strikes. And I'm talking big. Okay? So much so, the United States issues a security alert for Kiev. Look, when they tell the U.S. embassy in an area, everybody get out, and like even Americans in, you can't go to this embassy and seek shelter anymore. This isn't a safe haven. This is actually a place that might get targeted and hit and bombed. So everybody get out. All right? This is what's going on. We have been in a state of war in Ukraine for how long? How many years? Through how many administrations? They have never issued this. I'm telling you, something is about to happen. Okay? Something huge. Huge attacks. It has everything to do with Kiev, and they know it too. How could it not? Something huge couldn't happen in Ukraine and not happen in that city. So the U.S. Embassy tells Americans, be prepared, take cover, get out, embrace for a shock and awe attack. This is what they're warning. This is the flat out warning. Whether this is what's about to happen or not, they're saying, without a doubt, after the drone strike that just struck Russia and how they got hit, something huge is about to happen. And I don't know what else to say outside of that, besides something huge is about to happen. Anything's on the table. It's going to be military. It's going to be massive. And it could be against other people outside of Ukraine, like whoever's supplying the weapons to them and all this. Russia said everyone's fair game. Anyone that is backing this is fair game. That's the scariest part to me. That means we're obviously fair game. Come on. It's not a secret who's backed this whole freaking war. It's a proxy war. It's virtually us. Like, Trump could have made much larger concessions to try to end this whole thing, but he didn't. What he did is he moved our Patriot defense missile system out of Israel down into Ukraine. I don't know if he's trying to pull a flex move or what, and they got wiped out. Obliterated. We have no answer. They have no answer to this very moment. You've got no answer to the mock hypersonic missiles that Russia's got. No one's been able to stop it yet. That is what I'm telling you. That is what's about to happen. That is what's about to rain down. You watch. You watch. Russia says they seek victory, not some delusional compromise. I'm telling you, they're going to stomp them out. They're sick of it. I would. If I was in this situation, this is what I would do. I'm just isn't picking sides, picking a Russia over this or that or anything. If this was me in this situation, if I was in Russia's shoes here in a country like this that has Zelensky as a leader, like this dude is getting struck tonight in decapitation strikes. That's what's happening. And they're going to be hard. They're going to be fierce. And any place that we think that he's at is getting hit. So there's not going to be a question about it. And if he resurfaces in the media, in the media somewhere, immediately after, we're going to have people everywhere. And wherever we think that clip came from is getting struck. Do you understand? Like, this dude pops his head out of the ground like a mole. It's whack-a-mole. Like, he's getting it. Um, do you understand? Like, that's where we're at if we're Russia. We're not playing any more games. They just got hit huge. Their nuclear triad just got halfway wiped out. They can't afford another hit, and they will not. I can just guarantee you that. They will not take another shot like that. Something huge is about to happen. What do they say here? Foreign-made explosives used in the railway, what they call terrorist attacks. These weren't military attacks. When they blew up the bridges in Russia, they're calling them terror attacks. Okay? This whole thing is switching to that front. These dudes scuba dived underwater and placed explosives on the truss, on the underwater columns to bring these bridges down that killed innocent people. So, again, the attacks have spread into Russia. They're not going to take much more of this at all. That's why they said they'll create a buffer zone all the way to the western side of Ukraine and take over almost the whole thing. So Russia strikes Ukraine's drone production facility. So this is one move, okay? 142 targets hit in a major strike. This is big. So this is the beginning. Trying to take out the main weapon that's being used here. Drones are key. They're being used more than anything. They're being used more than anything than any other weapon. It's drones of different sizes in different categories. So what's the UK do? They pledge 100,000 new drones for Kiev. Again, you want to back the enemy, you're susceptible to getting hit. Like, that's us here in the US, that's UK, anywhere. And the closer to Russia that you are, the worse it is, in my opinion. What does Russia say now? Listen to this. They call Zelensky an illegitimate Kiev regime that is turning into a terrorist organization. You know what happens then, right? That's what I'm saying. The verbiage is completely changed. I mean, you're in a war, for crying out loud. It doesn't really matter what names you call them, right? But they're designating them terrorists. And like, whenever this happens, the biggest of bombs get rolled out. The nastiest of everything get used. Do you see where we're at? And you've got the former mayor of Kiev, former professional boxer and everything else, Klitschko, going off on Zelensky. And it's someone like him that you may see rise to the occasion if Zelensky's knocked out to take power, to like take a power seat. It's going to be someone like him, someone with popularity, charisma, backing, all this stuff, and that will be able to negotiate with Russia some kind of deal. That's how I see it. That's what it's going to have to be if there's ever going to be any peace, or Russia's going to occupy this place and it's going to be no more Ukraine. Man, it's really deep with this at this point. After all these years, I mean, but the world is a stage, right? And we know it is. It's all scripted. It's all telegraphed. And I tell you all the time that, like, if Russia really wanted war with NATO, Europe, because that's what this comes down to in the end. And thank you, William, for the coffees. Much love. God bless. You would cut their gas off. Somebody at the round table here tonight, explain to me, all you military war hawks here, you explain to me in a real world situation, if this isn't a show, why, if, okay, we're Russia, we have not cut off the gas to Europe. If that's the big bad boogeyman, if that's our adversary on the other side here on the world stage, why have we not killed them all? Isn't that our goal? Why have we kept gas flowing the entire time. This is a curtain drop moment. This is one of the things where you see those with the eyes to see this whole thing's a stage, man. You're literally keeping them alive, your adversaries alive. And Russia knows this, no doubt. It's time for the people to see this clearly. So, this is one article. U.S. sanctions threaten Europe's Russian gas lifeline. Oh, really? A lifeline? What's this one say? Russia's pipeline gas supply to Europe rose in May. We're all getting played like a fiddle. Everybody else should just sit down and shut up. Like, it's all shenanigans. You understand? Every bit of it. Every single bit of it. Every bit of it. And in the end, these humans have sold us out. They're all in on it. All the different countries, they worship a fallen entity. And they do it all in allegiance to that they keep hidden from you. But they're all on the same team. Don't ever get it twisted. Against us, we the people, from every country. We're truly all in this together. From Africans to Germans to Russians to Chinese to Americans to Mexicans to Canadians. We the people are truly in this. It's just people are played. They're lied to, they're buffaloed, they're controlled through media and brainwashed, all this other stuff. It's a stage, though. It's a stage. Just as we know, they control both sides of the aisle. They control the whole thing. The whole entire thing. Again, if this is a real war in a real setting, gas would have been cut off a long time ago, and Europe would have froze 4 winters ago. They'd have all froze to death. Do you understand? You see how that works? Very simple. So it's a lie. It's a ruse. So, India and Pakistan supposed to be on the verge of war. Well, these articles are all pointing at China, sizing them up. Who? Sizing India up. Because when India and Pakistan got into it, who did China back immediately and supply jets to and all this? Pakistan. They want India to come down because they're the biggest threat to them in the region. That would mean that would be an ally to the United States, period. In the end, the United States knows this. India, now the most populous country on the planet, and will be from here on out, is China's numbers are going in reverse, which they're going to have to fix at some point. But China's got these huge ambitions to try to be the boss hogs here as soon as they can knock us off of the perch, which means our way of life changes. Everything that you've ever known growing up your entire life changes when we go through this event. We have an ability to change history. I do believe this. The people just got to get up and do it. Literally, they have to get up and be the change they seek and start being proactive. Start saying things, voicing your concern to senators. Start applying pressure and heat, and you ain't got to be threatening. You can do it in a nice manner. Something has to be done. Social media is the easiest way to do it these days. You can reach right out to your senator and just be like, yo, will you please do this or that? Thank you. That's it. And that's it. That's applying the pressure in a righteous way. Keeping them honest. Letting them know we're watching. If not, if everybody sits there and does nothing, then they just push something through and they're like, oh, these idiots aren't paying attention to nothing. We could just go and pass this whatever. And that's what they were hoping here with this big ugly bill. But we're still waiting to see what happens with that. So Trump admits, he says she is a very tough cookie. He's hard to make a deal with. So, they wanted Trump to be like this guy that go out there and strike up all these deals, which he may yet in the end. He's still got, 4 years on the clock here. But he's basically saying that, she's strong-armed. strong arming him back, and he can't get the deal he wants done with them. It's the CCP. He takes for the word that they're going to stop sending fentanyl in, and here we continue to see shipments coming in. Taiwan will at some point become a flashpoint. I believe it will be the linchpin that draws us into a military conflict with China. We will jump to aid Taiwan to back them somehow, some way. And in doing so, it's going to start a conflict. And right before you know it, China is going to spring into action from Cuba because they're set up there in over 8 different locations. And our government knows all this, but they're doing nothing to stop them. They're not stopping them here. We're not seeing headlines that Cash Patel and the boys went down and they cleared out this huge piece of property right next to a United States military base. Nope, not hearing none of them stories. Nothing like it. It's a setup. It's a setup. Everything that's about to happen is a setup and staged and planned. Don't you ever forget it. I don't care how horrific it is. It goes down. It was all planned and plotted, man. We will see clearly when these events pop off. We'll know who was behind it. I don't care if your emergency radio is saying that the Red Chinese did it. I don't care. We were sold out. It was this government that did it, that allowed it to happen. It's always been the plan. Some of us just knew it. We've been calling it out the whole time. But China and all that, this is something that has to happen. It's something that's going to happen. It's inevitable at this point. There's going to be a war, whether we like it or want it or not. I would say that at some point you might be able to try to stop some things, but they're so embedded in everything. Like there's a plan to bring this place down, like a controlled demolition. And China's a huge part of it. And everything is in place. Everything is in place. It's the scary part. It's like they're down to the last Jenga piece and they're pulling it out. And that thing's swinging back and forth. It's about to come down. That's how close we are. That's how close we are. Again, military action on any of these fronts, not good. Do you know that when it comes to our military jets, everyone thinks that we're all badass and we control the sky, and we don't. We don't do half of none of that. Most of our aircraft is not even up to date, and our F-35s are a wreck. They've had a ton of issues if you haven't been paying attention. Also, we don't have anything near what we need in terms of protecting this country. America lost 3,700 aircraft in the 9 years of the Vietnam War. Currently, we only have 1,300. We've been set up. But go Macca, right? Go Macca. There's so much winning, right? Pathetic. We've been set up. Oh, I guess Trump's Golden Dome's going to save the day. Oh, really? Is it that, or is it going to set off EMP? I don't trust none of it. I can't trust none of them. None of it. It's all evil. It's all demons. I suspect the worst. You just take the gander. Like, oh, man. I pray to the Most High. He sends down. Let it be archangels. Let it be Michael, Raphael, Uriel to come down and start cleaning up. Paving the way for Yeshua. Something. It's going to be a big show. Violent show of fire when that happens. And I don't care. Like, bring it. If it's what it takes to stop this madness, then so be it. I won't be as self-centered to say, oh, you can't do that. Let me live out this life in this demonic place. No. Like, do what you got to do, guys. I got a ticket in to the end. And the end means all the way up to showtime. And when it starts raining fire, that's why we call it the end. And if I don't see that, then it's not the end. You dig? Let's just get that straight. And check this out. And this is probably happening on many different levels more than what people realize. But North Korea just showed that they are rolling out iPhones for their people that have all the censorship built in, to where if you go typing in certain words that are forbidden, it changes it in real time and replaces it with state approved words. It is crazy. And to think of how far they could take this. This is North Korea and their dictatorship and their control and all this other stuff. But they ban anyone from being able to have these type of phones, but then they roll out these ones that are controlled. Shows you the level, the lengths that some will go to out there. And got a couple more here. Did the feds just label you us all purebloods, COVID violent extremists? I mentioned this on the last stream, but yeah, for sure they did. But it goes beyond that. Okay? The feds use definitions of extremism has extended far beyond COVID. Okay? They are targeting, the FBI is targeting conservatives that are Catholics, that even ones that preferred to hear the Latin language version of Mass, claiming that they're potentially violent extremists. Conservative Catholics out there, hear me now. The FBI thinks you're potentially violent extremist. The FBI has portrayed rosaries as extremist symbols. People need to wake up. It's more important, Trump and his administration or your Messiah, your religion. Like, who do you believe in? Like, for real. Time to take a look in the mirror, man. For real. So, FinCEN stretched its suspicious behavior definition warning that they have at banks to track extremism, okay? And to track anyone that purchased books with religious texts. That is right. Your FBI, your Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, garbage. Same FBI views your rosaries as an extremist symbol. Conservative Catholics as being violent extremists. Buying Bibles as suspicious extremist behavior. This is ridiculous. Tip of the iceberg. Are we on a list? For sure. But dozens. Who cares? You let that scare you? Like, you can go through this life, die, and look back like, man, I shouldn't have sat there so scared. Trust me, that's one thing you don't want to do. You want to live it and do some meaningful things before it's all said and done, I'm telling you. And this brings me to the final thing. This is a bit of an update, but it's hitting on a key fact here. I told you how Palantir was being called out for creating a database where they're tracking us. Us, the ones they're calling violent extremists. Yeah. Why are those lists so important? Because they feed them into a database like this of Palantir that track you. And it's these exact same databases that Palantir's using on the other side of the planet to kill people. The exact same thing. To track the extremists and kill them. Only thing that they would not be doing here is killing us. Yet. So. Yeah, you fear not, man. Yeah, unfortunately, none of this is all conspiracy. Fact. This is all 100% fact. And usually people that come calling something a conspiracy is just they're still asleep and they fear something. So, with that said, brings me to the close of another one here tonight. As always, I want to thank everyone that joins us here for these streams. Going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern here to cover all the latest madness. Take us out of here on some music. Wrong song, Dabu. And as I always say, if the good Lord doesn't return in the coming days, I'd like to see you here next time for some Underground World News Live. Much love, God bless, and thank you all for supporting the channel, sharing, and for the prayers. Keep those prayers coming. They're more important than you know. It's a power. You need to learn to start exercising that power more and more. It's real. For real. Email me if you need to get a hold of me. Anything. He said, dude, play a song from your album? Yeah, you know, we do make music, right? Maybe I should do that for once, huh? These demons can't contain me. They can't stop me. No, they can't. They can't stop you neither. They can't stop us.
Got another one.
Fire flame.
We ride on them. Much love.
Time.
Illuminati.
Underground. Let's go.
I was made for this, I was built for this, yeah, I believe it. No stopping this, we locking in, we got the keys. Seen a lot of shit, but can't nothing change me. Been fighting all these demons, they cannot contain me. I was made for this, I was built for this, yeah, I believe it. No stopping this, we locking in, we got the keys. Seen a lot of shit, but can't nothing change me. Been fighting all these demons, they cannot contain me.
Like to ride on my enemies, come storming, swarming like killer bees. Show me how hard a gorilla be when I'm moving with the God-given energy. Yeah, and I'm about to go ham, yo. Ain't falling for the scam, bro. When the doors raise up on the Lambo, when I'm popping out shots like I'm Rambo. That's the plan, though, cause the homies don't play that. Never sit puffin' haystack. Me and Nina go way back. Ain't no one never stay strapped, laid back in the Maybach. And we bringing the heat that we never knew we'll feel. Me and my homies drinking the real deal. So you better go and take it with your pill. Cause they coming at you ready to kill.
I was made for this, I was built for this, yeah, I believe it. No stopping this, we locking in, we got the keys. Seen a lot of shit, but can't nothing change me. Been fighting all these demons, they cannot contain me.
Thank you,
I
Eon.
was built for this, yeah, I believe it. No stopping this, we locking in, we got the keys. Seen a lot of shit, but can't nothing change me.
Thank you, William.
Been fighting all these demons, they cannot contain me. They can't contain what's great, they can't contain my faith. I must maintain a grade, that's just another saying. Hold up, I'm another saying. Super no Goku, get beat just like it's Pro Tools. I'm moving like an old school. Bad, we can get back to the level. Living bruises on the devil. Pay attention, it could get level. Assistant ain't no AI. Precision ain't gon' go out. Petition might not work out, but a nigga like me going all out. I was made for
Much
this,
love,
I was built for
Lakeville.
this, yeah, I believe it. No stopping this, we locking in, we got the keys. Seen a lot of shit, but can't nothing change me. Been fighting all these demons, they cannot contain me. I was made for this, I was built for this, yeah, I believe it. No stopping this, we locking in, we got the keys. Seen a lot of shit, but can't nothing change me. Been fighting all these demons, they cannot contain me.
Speak to God when the heathen drop. The streets full of demons that will squeeze and pop. Wagging tongues seem to speak a lot when the soul's possessed by the creepy mob. True talk, get the speaker shot. Cause man squeezy spots just to sneak a shot. Close range and regal rocked and JFK'd if you leave your block. Switch my back, they attack at angles. I wear them down just like the Lord sandals. Just I'm approaching, we leave your mangled up. Tango with angles, we do the fandango. I crack your mango if you rough your melon. Then pray to the heaven for some demon repellent. The exorcist exercise a session, cause in my profession can't disguise possession.
I was made for this, I was built for this, yeah, I believe it. No stopping this, we locking in, we got the keys. Seen a lot of shit, but can't nothing change me. Been fighting all these demons, they cannot contain me. I was made for this, I was built for this, yeah, I believe it. No stopping this, we locking in, we got the keys. Seen a lot of shit, but can't
This is Dabu 7. It seems the establishment is again telegraphing lights out. One of the most recent warnings was the World Economic Forum warning of this lights out event, also dubbing this year the year of the poly crisis.
The signs in the skies that my ghetto space failing. Extra solar flash, CME's prevailing. We in a time when the truth's unveiling. You better catch up fast and stop trailing. The nailing office misdirecting nations. Flames and die resisting temptations. Only way to move it, taking haven. Agenda 21's all about sustaining. The powers that be to continue reigning. So don't be mad when the MPs are raining. The days are numbered, I hear the stairs wailing. So from here on in, it's strictly plain sailing. When the grid goes down, you better be ready. When the grid goes down, when the grid goes down, you better be ready. When the grid goes down, when the grid goes down, you better be ready. When the grid goes down, when the grid goes down, you better be ready.
And seeing more and more things like air glow, and this is all part of an increase in the sun's activity from these CMEs. The solar cycle 25, we're entering the peak a little ahead of schedule. We don't want to see a Carrington event happen this day and age.
Ready or not, so keep your eyes at the skies for the signs being shown. It's now time to prepare for when the power's gone. Is it Chinese spy blues we're being showered from, or Carrington 2.0 powered on? There's many scenarios for what matters when the countdown clock reaches the final second. Russian super nuke shoot a threat until they letting them off like corona massive engines. Science the weapon and choice they've chosen, like classic as a vice, stay cold and frozen. It's all lies, the world's not broken, but the countdown for 2030's not joking. When the grid goes down, you better be ready. When the grid goes down, when the grid goes down, you better be ready. When the grid goes down, when the grid goes down, you better be ready. When the grid goes down, when the grid goes down, you better be ready.
We now have the actor Dennis Quaid reading from the script, giving out this warning, and he says that the electric will go out up to 30 days, so that seems to be the window. They also state that people cannot survive without water, and that this too will shut down the water supply. How many people are paying attention?
Ready or not, pay attention, people to the lies they spin. When the grid goes down, was it planned by kings? I demand I sling and a rock to swing. So show respect, it don't cost a thing. Like shots that ring, people look for cover. When shit is the fan, then people gon' suffer. The end's close, I can smell the sulfur. The grid's going down, well, wait, you're another.
Yeah, it's lights out like an EMP. Blood in the streets in the land of the free. It's all by design by the GOV. ERNMENT. Unless we're getting hit by CME, there's really no telling when the moment it's gonna be. From the time that it spark, reject the mark. You better have a plan or get left in the dark. Yeah, from the time that it spark, reject the mark. You better have a plan or get left in the dark.
When the grid goes down, you better be ready. When the grid goes down, when the grid goes down, you better be ready. When the grid goes down, when the grid goes down, you better be ready. When the grid goes down, when the grid goes down, you better be ready.
Much love.
Ready or not? Ready or not? Ready or not? Ready or not?
I spent a decade warning everybody about this event.
Ready or
We're on the
not?
doorstep of it. I'm warning you. They're telegraphing it
Ready or not?
again. So this is a repeated theme.
Ready or
Now they've got one of their Hollywood goons out here reading from the script, warning, lights out is coming. It's like we can't trust anything going on out there.
Ready or not?
We've got to stay on top of things. Eyes to the skies, y'all.